So, guten Abend zusammen. I'm switching to English now because we have tuned in, hopefully, almost all employees of 1KOMMA5. Thank you for taking the time, for everybody who's in Hamburg today, even though there's a strike ongoing, not only on air traffic, but also on trains. So we appreciate you being here. And thank you for all of you who are switching in from 1KOMMA5 Group. This format has become really important for us because we are already 1,200 people from Helsinki to Sydney. If we become increasingly an international company, that's also why, even though everybody who presents today is German, we'll be speaking English, which is kind of awkward for the Germans here. But please excuse our coolness. Yeah, we have a valid reason. Yeah? Thank you for tuning in from hopefully all over the world. I think Sydney is probably not going to be tuned in. It's in the middle of the night. And today we want to take the opportunity of basically doing two things. Give you an update, our employees, but also people who are interested in 1KOMMA5, where we stand of what we're doing. And the second point is we are going to release something really cool at the end. Yeah? So you have to go through the entire thing with us, and at the end we're going to release something and we're pretty excited about. So let me start maybe with what is the vision and what's driving us at 1KOMMA5. I think it's really important for our teams to always reflect on why we are doing certain things. Sometimes the things we do seem to be a bit disconnected, and even employees are saying, like, why are we doing them? Yeah? And it's good to remind ourselves what we want to do. We believe living on wind and sunlight forever for free is possible, right? And it sounds really cheesy, yeah, very American, but we really believe it is possible, and let me explain you why we think it's simple. Renewables, sun and wind, are a primary energy source that generally is for free. So if you compare wind and solar, or wind and sunlight, to coal, oil, gas, anything, they don't have to be transported, they don't have to be refined, they don't have to be mined, they don't have to be put into huge tanks into your garden, and you also don't have to go to war for them, hopefully. So they are delivered right where we are, right? So the primary energy is available and it's for free. So that's already amazing. And all we have to do is connect this primary energy to mobility, heat, and electricity. Yeah? So find a way how you can actually take that primary energy, put it in your car, put it in your heating, put it in your electricity. How do we do that? We are investing in generators. One of them is solar, the other one is wind. And the cool thing about these generators are they are amortizing against fossils, meaning the investment in the generator that allows us to harvest free primary energy is being paid by fossil fuels, which are heavily subsidized. So, I mean, how amazing is that, right? You have free electricity, too early. You have free primary energy, and the generator is paid by big oil, because we're amortizing against that. Once you amortized, you have still a lot of lifetime, and this is free electricity. So it is possible to connect the primary energy source and to create, out of sunlight and wind, free electricity for a very long time. Of course, there's some maintenance and stuff like that, but let's not look at this for the moment, right? But there's one big problem. The problem is our year usually has 8,760 hours. And those free primary energy sources in Northern Europe are available 1,000 hours for solar and 2,000 hours for wind. So there's pretty much a lot of time left, right? And critics now say, you know, amazing speech, but you know that's never going to work because I mean even right now we need electricity. We say it's possible because all you need to do is you need to set up the infrastructure, the IoT setup, to actually have consumption follow the production. So let me give you a very simple example. An electric car needs about 400 hours of charging if you charge it with 11 kilowatt hours and you want to drive 20,000 kilometers a year. 400. And you have 3,000 hours that you could use to always tap into primary energy that is clean and almost for free. But still, the biggest challenge is to actually bring all the consumption we have into that production. And we want to solve both problems. So 1KOMMA5 wants to do both at the same time, because if we just do one, it's not going to be a real solution. Yeah? And we have a a master plan for that, and it's really simple. We try to get the best entrepreneurs globally in the solar, heat pump, clean tech industry to join the group. I think we're on a good way there. We are now 56 locations, and more entrepreneurs, great companies are joining the group. The second step we have is then we actually want to make them more efficient by building an operating system, a CRM system, so to speak, to get more done with the same amount of labor. Yeah, that's really key. You all heard of it, shortage of labor. We need to be smarter and faster. And we'll give you an update on where we stand there, because we think we can decrease labor costs by 50% by just making things a lot easier, smarter, and intelligent. And the last point of the master plan is, once you created the platform, step one, then you made it more efficient, and if you then plug all of these devices into an energy IoT, which we call Heartbeat, you can actually make this vision real, and this is living on wind and sunlight forever for free. And this is what we're working on, and I'm very, very glad to have some updates, and we'll start with Philip, our Chief Operating Officer. Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. It's really good to see you all. It's always a bit like a class reunion when we meet in Hamburg, and I think it's a really good idea to have this format on a regular basis to give you updates on what we're working on. Philip already gave you our vision. Now, I'm going to give you an update on what we have been working on 2022 up until now, what we have achieved, and what our vision in terms of operation is for the future. We have found the best installation companies, not only in Germany, but also almost worldwide. They are the true technical experts. They have the expertise to do the installations in the best quality. They have a very strong regional reputation. They have a very strong regional network. That's their part on the equation. What 1KOMMA5 brings to the table is we bring really strong processes, we bring digitalization, and we bring customer focus. Customer focus is very important also when it comes to quality, also when it comes on delivering good information along the entire process, along the entire value chain. So we asked ourselves, how can we get there? How can we scale the amount of installations that we can achieve with the existing teams on board, the installation teams on board? How can we enable new teams that we onboard to really become fast and efficient in installing the systems in a fast way? And how can we not forget the customer along the way, but inform him on a regular basis on where he stands with his order, where he stands with delivery, where he stands with delivery and installation, and how can we prepare even for later stages such as service? The answer is the 1KOMMA5 operating system. It's a software that we have been developing over the last year, and it consists of 3 main modules. One is project management, which means preparation for the installation teams. Second, warehousing and logistics. It's really important, and we've all experienced this in 2022, that you have all the required components for your installation ready, available when you want to do the installation. This has been quite difficult during 2022. The operating system will really strongly support our installers of not having issues with that anymore. And third, we have an extra app on top of that for the installation teams out in the field so that we can give them a clear view on what are they supposed to install and to give them a tool to document precisely and on-site what they have actually done. I'm just going to let this screencast run and give you a bit of details on what we're doing. Obviously, it's very important that you have a clear oversight of all the orders that you have in place. If sales is very successful, you have tons of orders of clients that you need to manage. You need a clear overview, not only of the individual order, but all orders and where you stand with them. This is obviously very important for the project management. If you jump into the particular order, you get a lot of details on important information. You can prepare as a project manager, as a technical planner, everything you need to prepare for the installation teams so that they can really deliver on the installation side. It includes obviously a lot of photos and pictures because it is important to work with visuals for the installation teams. They don't really want to read long texts and stuff. They want to see images. They want to see plans. They want to have every information on hand that they require to deliver the proper installation in decent quality. It is also important that we have a modularity. That means we don't have only one solution that should fit all clients' requirements, but we want to be able to cater to very specific and very different situations at hand with every client. So this tool enables us to not just try to push the same solution onto every customer, but to be very detailed in high quality and very precise on what we plan and what we deliver for each customer, for each site. Here you see a bill of materials. You see on the right-hand side, everything is green, which means all the material required for this installation would be available. The project manager, the planner, then knows he can actually time this installation for the installation teams. You have a task overview. You see the progress of preparing each individual order for the installation. You can then go into the calendar and plan for different installation teams when the installation is supposed to happen. They then receive all the information on our app, the installation manager. They know where to go. They know all the contact information of the client. The client can be informed once the team leaves the warehouse in the morning and at what time they will arrive on site for the installation. And then even the warehousing and logistics departments receives everything they need for consigning each order in the morning. So overall, very streamlined processes. Everything goes hand in hand. The different departments within each installation organization knows where they stand, knows what happens next. The client will be informed about the next steps. All of this in order to have a very fast, very efficient process to achieve more installations with the same teams and to onboard new installation teams even faster. And everything with the client in the focus so that he's happy, he knows what happens, and he receives good quality. That's where we stand right now. And the very cool stuff will only start in the future because now we have developed the basis to really play the magic tricks. We're going to include artificial intelligence. So when the installation teams are on the site, they will be able to use artificial intelligence to detect if the installation teams have done correct photo documentation of the site. They will be able, through measurement reports that you need to do after regulatory requirements, for example in Germany, and algorithms will help us to identify if the installation has been properly done. If the wrong values show up in your measurement protocols, the team will not go home. They will correct potential mistakes that they have been that they have produced during the installation. So in the future, this tool, 1KOMMA5 operating system, will become even more powerful. It will support even more the quality for our customers. And obviously, next thing we want to do is we want to include the heat pump. Right now, it's PV, storage, charging. Heat pump will come soon. As of now, we can use the operating system in the German market. It has been rolled out to most of our installation companies in Germany, and we are preparing international rollout. So since we're really on a tight time budget, I haven't seen the signs yet, but I guess it's time to hand the mic over to Sascha, and he will tell you more about how we achieve scalability and modularity in the sales. Thanks.
Thanks, Philip, and welcome everyone to Hamburg and all over the world. I'm super excited to show you what we've been working on, because what we want to achieve is have a scalable customization for every customer. And why do we want to have that? Because there is thousands of requirements that customers have at home. And if we just look at some of the examples, you see not every house is the same. Not every rooftop is the same. Not every meter cabinet is the same. What we find in many cases is that customers come to us and say, I only get one size fits all. I only get a standardized package. I want to have some requirements and specifications on what I want to do with my home. I mean, this is a decision for the next 30 years. And I think every customer should expect that. And we find that quite sad and pity, because we believe that there is a scalable solution, a customized solution for every customer. So what we see with the old solar world, you will find customized systems that are like a manufacturing process that is very tiny and very detail orientated. So the problem with that is you cannot scale it. But we need to scale. We need to scale because we want to decarbonize every house there is out there in the world. On the other hand, though, you will find companies who only offer a one-size-fits-to-all to every customer. And the problem with that is that you don't really can answer specific requirements. So both of them, you don't really find them often in the market, and they really clash. So we will look now at how we solve this problem, how we make a scalable customization for every customer. And we here have a rooftop that is not the typical south side roof area, and that's it, perfect installation, easy to fix, but you have 4 different roof areas with a satellite, with a ventilation pipe. And how we approach a customer is that we sit down with him and say, okay, let's look at what works best for you. So we start with putting some panels on the rooftop, we start with filling one side of the roof, and then we will look at what actually is the potential of the whole system. And that is the starting point, obviously, because that is the generator. The second step is that we now configure the system for the need of the customer. So we start with making a house carbon neutral, right? So that is the first step. But we don't go with a one-size-fits-all package. We go into this process of saying, okay, let's start with a preset of components. We now see already that we have an autarky that you can really improve, because 52% is not that much. So what do we do first? We go with high efficiency, high performance modules, our own beautiful 1KOMMA5 modules. There we see already an uptake in autarky for our customer. We now looked at the rooftop before, and we can not only fit 20 modules on that rooftop, but 25. Easy to adapt, and you see the effect right away with increasing the autonomy once again. We saw 3 or 4 different roof sizes. What we can do now is we can select an inverter. Obviously, a string inverter works not that well here, so we go with the micro inverter technology from Enphase. Next step is we started with a quite small storage system, 3.5 kilowatt hours. That is a little bit too low for that customer, so we can easily select a different storage system and make sure to increase that autonomy to the fullest. If we now go with that, we see already a big uptake in autarky, 78%. We see the ROI increasing, and we always have our heartbeat manager here included. We could now even add a charger to it, and we see the result for our customers right away. The best part, as you just saw, is that we can add premium components and increasing the ROI for our customers. And that is the huge benefit of not only going cheap, but actually looking at quality products and then looking at the total cost of ownership for our customers. So the first step is having a modular system. If you don't get a modular system, to be honest, you shouldn't sign. You should look for other companies that actually give you that freedom of choosing. The second step is we put energy management on top of that. We put our heartbeat on top of that, and the result of both of those components is, in the end, the best total cost of ownership for our customers, and that is amazing. But I think you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't have joined the live stream if you would think that we would stop here. So I'm very excited to introduce the next one on the stage. And let me tell you something, we don't stop here, but I don't want to take too much up front. So Jannik, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Honestly, it's really a privilege to be standing up here next to my two favorite products, our beautiful Heartbeat and our 1KOMMA5 solar panel. And I'm going to talk about both of them. And I'm going to start with Heartbeat, obviously. So Sascha already explained how we're optimizing the cost and the total cost of ownership over the lifetime of a system in Germany and how it already works today. But let's take one step back. Let's talk about 3 points. And the first one is basic operations. We believe that in the future, connected systems are going to be a basic necessity. There's not going to be any more stupid solar with individual components operating in silos. There's only going to be connected systems that are upgradable, where you can push software updates, improve them, and evolve as the energy market evolves and new business models emerge. And the second one, and I think I don't even need to talk about it, is convenience. And of course I don't want to use 5 different apps to control my heat pump, my charger, my solar. I want everything in one place. And the most important one is return. And that goes back to the vision that Philip formulated in the beginning. It's about following the production. Consumption needs to follow production. And we need to make sure that at every point in time, we use the cheapest and cleanest source of energy available. And in most cases, it's your own solar from the rooftop. And in some cases, it is wind from the grid at times when it's available in abundance. And we have started on this journey last year in Germany, and I'm extremely excited that we're now also live in Sweden. All right, so let's talk about the other product. We promised in November, actually on this very stage, to clean up our supply chains. And we started with the solar panel, and we started with the raw materials. So we announced a panel that is going to be made from raw materials from Germany, in particular from polysilicon from Germany. And polysilicon is the most critical part of the supply chain. And you might be wondering, they announced it, did they deliver it? Last week, we completed the first production run, and this is the very first pallet. So these beautiful modules are going to ship out very soon to customers in Finland, to customers in Sweden, to customers in Germany, and later this year also to customers in Australia. But coming back to the raw materials, coming back to the polysilicon, what's the impact of switching to a German supplier, which is a quite unusual step? Let's look at the CO2 footprint. And by using German polysilicon from Wacker, we can save over 20% of CO2 emissions per module. And 20% might not seem like much, but just looking at the amount of polysilicon we secured from Wacker for the next 2 years, we are talking about savings of 25,000 tons of CO2. And now, coming back to the vision, now that's really the best part. It's about how our vision translates into technology and how we actually execute in our vision. And there's no better person to show you what we're doing than Barbara, our CTO. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Jannik, and I'm super happy to be on this stage actually for the first time because it's the first event I'm joining. Let's for a second go back to how we usually work with Heartbeat and how we connected devices to Heartbeat so far. So far we connect PV panels, EV chargers, heat pumps and batteries in home, usually wired or at least via the router that is in home and then to our data platform. Based on that, we optimize those devices. What we have done now is we changed the way we connect. So I tried to give Heartbeat wings, and my team did try really hard. So far, there are no wings, but we have wheels for now. What does that mean? We do connect to devices that are on the move. And we do that by connecting cloud to cloud. So in the backend, we opened up our backend to connect to third-party data platforms and providers and can integrate with them and integrate the data into our optimization to make even more out of the assets our customers have. What does it actually mean? Actually, that means that so far we have static devices connected, but a car is not really a static device, right? So if we connect to the charger only, once the car leaves, the last thing that we know for our optimization is what was the state of charge on departure. That's already good, you can do a lot with it, but there is more to know if you connect and optimize dynamic devices. So now we know wherever the car is, we know the location, we know what the actual state of charge of that car is, where it's driving, and when it will be coming home. So we can already optimize our algorithms and use the data on when the car will be there and optimize even better. What does it actually mean for our customers? Let's look at an example from our Swedish market. And let's come back to what Philip said earlier. Electricity has a different price throughout the day. And there are times during the day when electricity is for free. And you can see in that curve sometime around midnight on that day, electricity was for free on the market externally. You can also see there is a PV production in that home. So electricity was produced for free on site during the day. What do you do and how do you optimize against that with Heartbeat? And this is a curve that is taken from last week at one of our Swedish customers where we have dynamic tariffs and smart meters installed. So when you start optimizing against that curve, obviously early in the morning when there is sun, you start charging your battery with the PV production because the electricity is for free. Then during the day, you can see that around 20:30 that day, the EV came back home and it checked in with our system and it decided, no, it's not a good point in time to charge now because electricity price will be lower soon. So you can see the car sitting and waiting until later when the price drops and starting to charge later that day. And then on the right-hand side, around 3:30 something at night, you can see something that wouldn't have happened without Heartbeat either. That's a second charging cycle of the battery. So electricity was for free at that point in time and the battery charged already. So the customer already starts the next day before the sun rises with a fully charged battery. So in this case, this saves our customers 620 euros every year. But again, we don't stop there. We go even further, and I'm super happy to announce the first platform partner that we will integrate with as a third-party provider in our backend. And it's not a coincidence that you already saw small cars on the earlier slides. So the first partner we are working with is Porsche. And it's also not a coincidence that we see a car arriving with our branding in front of the window. And it's so I seem to have many coincidences. So it's also not a coincidence that I have Patrick, the head of Porsche Ventures, with me on stage now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks, Barbara. And yeah, first of all, great presentation. So amazing progress. I can say as one of the earliest investors, speaking here from the Porsche Venture side, we are super proud and happy to what you all have achieved so far. So amazing. Barbara, you just mentioned it, no coincidence that we have the Porsche Taycan here today. We are also very happy that the car, the electric car, now becomes part of 1KOMMA5 as well. So that's amazing. Yeah, and on top of that, we are also very proud that we will kick off an innovation project with 1KOMMA5. So what you can see here is a first glimpse, and yeah, stay tuned for some news, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the evening. We're looking forward to great discussions, and yeah, keep on rocking.
Thanks a lot. So we shouldn't forget that this is just one step on our mission, one step further on our mission to ride on wind and sunlight forever for free. Enjoy the evening.